It's a great pleasure to welcome you, dear Kaya, to Athens. We, of course, work very closely at the European Council, but it's always very important and very valuable to have the opportunity for a more substantive bilateral exchange, especially at a time when Europe's security challenges, unfortunately, seem to be multiplying. We lie at Europe's southeastern flank, at equal distance from the crisis in Ukraine and Gaza. And despite the difficulties that we have faced over the last years, I think Greece stands as a pillar of geopolitical and economic stability in an increasingly turbulent geopolitical environment, safeguarding the external borders of the European Union, both towards the east, but also towards the south. As you know, and as we've discussed at the European Council, we're implementing a very ambitious program of reform and modernization of our armed forces. We plan to spend more than 28 billion euros over the next 12 months. We're already above 3% of GDP for our defense spending, and we very much welcome the fact that the European Union is also moving in that direction. And I very much welcome your leadership in terms of strengthening Europe's strategic autonomy. As far as Gaza is concerned, we've seen an important breakthrough over the past weeks, and I think the priority now is to make it work and to ensure that Europe actually has a clear presence and a central role in the day after, in close coordination both with the US and with the Arab world, and we stand ready to contribute actively in the implementation of the peace plan. I think we are very well respected in the region by all actors involved, and we intend to play a very active role in terms of participating in the next steps of the peace plan. As far as Ukraine is concerned, I'm very interested to hear your thoughts, but my message is clear. We need to stand firm and united when it comes to standing up against Russian aggression. And one final point, which I know is also very much on your agenda. We welcomed the publication of the enlargement package. Greece has always been a staunch supporter of the integration of the Western Balkans into the European Union. It's a merit-based approach. We need to recognize those countries that have made substantive progress, but also encourage those countries that have not done so to keep up the work and not to abandon on the prospect of joining the European family. And again, as a first Balkan country to join the European family more than 40 years ago, I think we have a leverage in terms of convincing all countries that the necessary reforms need to take place, while at the same time recognizing the progress that some countries have made. So again, so good to have you, and very much looking forward to our discussion.
Thank you, dear Kyriakos, for having me here and Athens greeting us so warmly. So it's really great to be back here. Greece is an important and committed partner of the European Union. I mean, you are making vital contributions to common foreign and security policy. For example, the Greek troops that are working for our EU Althea operation in Bosnia-Herzegovina. Just a few days ago, I was also there because the mandate was extended one year. Then also Greece contributes to the ships to our naval operations in the Mediterranean and the Red Sea. So your support really helps to keep those waterways open. You are also a staunch supporter of Ukraine, both diplomatically, militarily, financially. So it is important because right now we see Russia not showing any signs of wanting really peace. So continued support to Ukraine, but also the pressure on Russia is very important. The new sanctions package that just was adopted 2 weeks ago will increase the pressure on Russia's economy, and we see they are not actually doing well. So the sanctions are really working. These are addressing energy, finance, and a military industrial base to deprive Russia millions of euros to fund its war. And most of Russia's income really comes from the shadow fleet of dirty tankers and And these pose a real threat to our seas as well when it comes to environmental worries. There are now over 550 ships covered by sanctions, but this has not killed the business model yet. So I know that this is also something that we need to discuss further, how we can really increase the cost for the Russians to sail their shadow fleet and not really affect our ships here. Also, like you mentioned, our own defense is very important. I mean, Greece has been investing 2% for quite some time, but unfortunately not all the European member states have. So we need to do more collectively. We must close the capability gaps. We must increase investments in defense and also boost our own defense industry and strengthen support for Ukraine as well. And this is always what I say, that defense is not an alternative to prosperity, but actually it's a precondition. And here you know this very well. We'll definitely also discuss your neighborhood. I mean, you mentioned Western Balkans. I think enlargement is extremely important, and I think we can really make tangible progress there. We also discussed Turkey. The improvement of Greece-Turkey relations is good news for the stability of the Eastern Mediterranean. And as you are in a very geostrategic, important geostrategic position, it is a bridge between Middle East and Europe, also close to the Black Sea. So definitely all these regions need to boost security, resilience, connectivity also with those regions, energy, transport, environmental protection, and you play an important role here. So really, thank you once again for having us, and looking forward to our discussions.